Seriously, every time I want to record a video, someone wants to cut the grass or Bella wants to squeak her toy. It's almost 2023. Are you ready for the new year? Are your finances ready for the new year? If they are not, you're going to want to stay tuned because we're going to talk a lot about budgeting and saving in 2023. Welcome, I am Adrienne. If this is your first video that you've clicked on my channel, I want to say hello and welcome to the family. If you haven't already subscribed, I want you to make sure you hit that subscribe button. And later on, if you found value in this video, make sure you hit the like button and even share it with somebody else. Because on this channel, as I am encouraging you, you are encouraging me because we are on a financial journey to financial wellness. Alright, so this video is going to be packed with a lot of information. Some of this stuff you might have heard before, but I just believe repetition will help you to remember things going forth, especially into the new year. As we get our finances together, you can figure out what you want to do, what works for you, what does not work for you, so that, you know, anything that you're trying to accomplish in the new year, I believe that you can do it. Alright, so where are we going to begin? Let's begin with our bare bones budget. Now, have you ever heard of that? Basically, what is like your fixed expenses that you have to pay for each month? I want you to write those out and the amounts that each bill is like that you have to pay for each month. Now, I created a worksheet and soon it will be in my Etsy store if you like it. Now, I want you to like track your expenses for the last 3 months so you can get an average amount of how much you're actually spending per month with, like, say your utilities, like your gas, like your mortgage is probably the same or your rent is probably the same, but different things like that. You need to get an average amount so that you'll have like a average of your bare bones budget for the month. So if something was to happen, God forbid, something was to happen, you already know how much you need per month to sustain your life, okay? So I did this in 2 different ways. I have my fixed expenses, which you can see here. And then I also created one for my irregular expenses. Now, as you can see, you go down the list here, you'll see my Canva, my Netflix, my Ring, that's cameras, TubeBuddy, transfer to savings, transfer to Fidelity, transfer to my sons, and my hair redone. And then you'll see on the irregular expenses, sinking funds and investments. Now, you may be wondering, Adrienne, why did you put your sinking funds on your irregular expenses? And that is because that's something that if something hits the fan, the sinking funds get cut out, okay? This list here is basically you can do with or you can do without. These particular categories are not sustainable. Like if something was to happen and I need to cut something, I'm going straight to this list, not my fixed expenses. Can I live without TubeBuddy? Yes. Can I live without Canva? Yes. Can I live without funding my sinking funds? Yes. But also, you got to remember, you got to have an emergency fund. And if you've never been a saver, I want to encourage you to save at least $1,000 to begin with. And then after that, you'll be like in the habit of saving and you'll have more than $1,000 saved up. Now for me, if you've been following me here on YouTube or my Instagram, your girl just never wants to be caught off guard. So I personally have tons of sinking funds. I have my emergency fund on top of emergency fund on top of emergency fund, because you're not gonna catch me slipping. But we'll talk about that a little later. All right, so I want you to take some time out this week to write out your bare bones budget, okay? And with your bare bones budget, include your utilities, the gas that you have to put into your automobile. Like for me, I have to pay to get the grass cut. I have to have that because I'm not cutting grass. For me, my alarm system, my AAA. I guess AAA can go with the regular expenses, but for me, being that I'm a single mom and a single person out here in the world, I just feel like I need that because if something were to happen, who am I going to call? So I'd rather be able to have that as a security. So I did put it under my fixed expenses. So you have to figure out what's important to you and put it under your fixed expenses, and what is something that you can or cannot live without, and that will go under your irregular expenses. Now, I talked about in a previous video sinking funds. Sinking funds helped like to save me, and I believe sinking funds will help you. Now you may be wondering, AP, what is a sinking fund? Basically, things happen, and I went over this in a previous video. You can see it here, but these sinking funds, like look how many sinking funds I have, because I just always just want to be prepared, and it's for expenses that can just come up. I have some ongoing expenses. For example, car repair, that's an ongoing expense, and I will set aside a certain amount of money per paycheck or per month for the sinking fund. Another example is home repairs. That's an ongoing sinking fund. Medical, an ongoing sinking fund. Now, Miss Bella, my dog, an ongoing sinking fund. Now, some sinking funds, they do have end dates. For example, back to school. The boys they go back to school in like August. So there is a deadline to how much I want to save, and whatever that amount is that I want to save, I basically subtract it by how many months I have to save for it, okay? So you have to come up with whatever sinking funds work for you and your family, and how much you plan to contribute to those sinking funds per month. So for me, this is outside of the regular budget. So I have my budget, my bare bones budget, I have my irregular expenses, I have my sinking funds, and I have my cash envelopes. Now in 2023, one thing that I will be doing with my cash envelopes is rolling them over. So for instance, I used to do the rollover challenge, and whatever I did not spend out of my cash envelopes, I basically saved it. But as we all know, inflation and life is just expensive. So I've decided to, if I had any money left over in my cash envelopes, I would just roll it over into the next pay period. So if I had any extra, that is awesome, because something may come up and something may be more expensive with whatever I need to shop for in those 2 weeks of me being paid, and I'll have a little bit extra, okay? I will be implementing the Budget Moms method in 2023. She is the one who had, these are her envelopes, you guys, so you need to check her out. I printed these out, and she believes in the highlighter method. As you can see, I have my highlighters. They are already labeled. I am ready to go. I am not playing in 2023. So my highlighters, you know, when I do my expense tracker, I already have my expense tracker created on Canva, and that's on my Etsy store as well. But anytime I make a purchase, whether with cash or with my debit card, I will log in on my expense tracker, and then I will highlight it, because at the end of the day, the end of the week, I need to know where my money is going. So it's very, very important to know where your money is going. And I'm going to be doing it just like her with the highlighter method, because I need to just, I want to stay on top of my finances, because I have a major big goal that I'm trying to accomplish in 2023 that I want to share with you a little bit later, okay? Now, I talked about the bare bones budget. Now, once you get the total amount, that is what, you know, you need to sustain yourself during that month. You can multiply that number by 12, and that way you'll know how much you need to save for an entire year, because you just never know. Life nowadays is like crazy, and say for instance, God forbid, you lose your job, something happens to you medically and you cannot work, at least you will know how much you need or how much you have had saved in order to sustain you for an entire year, okay? So my perspective on different things is always have a backup. So I'm coming from the angle of, yes, have your emergency savings, have your cash envelopes, have your sinking funds, have this, have that, have backup after backup after backup, you know, before you have to like swipe a credit card. And I'm not opposed to credit cards, don't get me wrong, but let's not, because especially if you can pay them off, high five to you at the end of the month. But some people are not as disciplined as that. And so we don't want to encourage you to use the credit cards if you're not disciplined, because that just racks up more debt. And if you already have debt, we want to pay it down, because debt can rob you of your joy. And we don't want your joy to be robbed. We want you to be living your best, fulfilled, happy life, okay? So, like I said, for me, and I want to encourage you to start saving an emergency fund. Start using your cash envelopes. Use cash. It feels different when you're handing over cash as opposed to when you're swiping a card. It's so easy to just swipe your card, and if you, especially if you're not tracking your expenses, you know, you're just swipe, and you may get an insufficient fund if you're not one who pays attention to like your balance on your checking account, okay? So use cash. That's one thing I really want to be dedicated with in the new year. If it's not in my envelope, I'm not using it. Like, I don't have it. And I will have, now I will be on a very strict budget, but don't get me wrong, I will have, like, for my miscellaneous, I will use that envelope for like fun times, you know, like I have my entertainment envelope, that would be for fun times too. So I don't ever want you to think like, Adrian, don't be so hard on yourself, you need to have fun. Your girl gonna have some fun, don't get me wrong. I'm just going to be saving for it. And so that's what I want to encourage you to do too. Have fun. You have to live, but just save for it. Don't go into debt for different things that you could have saved for, okay? Now, the big announcement. As we go into 2023, I want to tell you guys that I will not be doing any money challenges. I know, right? You're like, girl, you did all these money challenges in the previous years and you saved all this money. Now, I will be saving my coins because I will just put that away. But in terms of all the different money challenges, I'm not going to do that because I have a major goal. And you may be wondering, girl, what is the major goal? Say it, say it, say it. I want to save, I'm a single mom, one income. I want to save $12,000. So that is more than 10% of my annual gross income. Do you believe I can do it? I believe I can do it. And you know how I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna be really, really strict with my budget. Like I said, if it's not, if I can't afford it from my cash envelopes or my sinking funds, I don't have it. I don't have it, okay? And that's okay to just say no. No is a complete sentence. Hey, Adrian, you wanna go out? No. That's not in my budget. Adrian, you wanna No, it's not in my budget. And that is, I'm okay with that because I want to reach that goal. Now, in the new year, you'll see video of like, we're going on vacation, but that money, like I only need to save maybe $1,000 more. But that money came out of the money challenges from this year, and I've already saved over $5,000 and my goal is $6,000. So like I told you, I will be living, I will be having fun, but it's gonna be saved for, like I've already put it in my budget, what I plan to do with the money, you know, going forth. So I want you to not be strict, but be disciplined. Yes, be disciplined. That's a great word going forward. And don't get discouraged, you guys. I know like sometimes we get off track because that's me. I have gotten off track, and even if you do get off track, it's okay. Like, get back on track. It's your journey. It's okay. So don't beat yourself up if you're not saving the way you want to save. There's always tomorrow. If you wake up and you're able to like see a new day, then that means you have another chance. And so I want you to be encouraged. Always tune in. I'm your girl. I'm here to encourage you. We are going to do this, okay? Whatever happened in the past that you didn't accomplish, we're not even focusing on that. Okay, we're focusing on the future, and I believe that you can do all things. Okay, I believe that I can do all things. Single mom, married, whatever the case is, we are going to live our best financial life, and we're going to live in financial freedom. I am on the road to becoming a millionaire. I am claiming it. I am putting it in the atmosphere. I'm going to try different things in order to increase my income, because I only have one income, and it's like I need more. So I am just putting it out there for the universe to hear, and I am manifesting it, that more income will come to me in the new year and beyond. So if you like this video, if you were encouraged by this video, I want you to, if you can high five me, high five, but you can't. So just hit the like button, and like I said, share it and encourage somebody else. And then stay tuned, because I will be showing a lot of the behind the scenes of how I'm doing this, and I want you to be a part of this journey. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for watching, and I will see you in a few hours on the next Vlogmas day. I won a Gucci purse. Yay! I can't wait to show her her gifts for Christmas. She's gonna have a blast. Downloading Vision Board 2023.